Alright, your favorite TV show, Maisha Prime Women Talk, is currently on air. Welcome, my name is Rida Karim Chebet, and you're definitely watching the award-winning TV station, Maisha Television. This is the show where real women engage. And in main studio, I have two guests. We have Irene Bobushebi, a counselor, pastor, mother, and she is also a wife. We also have Sarah Muridi, a counselor as well, a pastor, and she is a wife and a mother to two boys. Karibuni sana. We've been talking about family, and in our last program we talked about some of the factors that lead to marriage breaking, and we tackled a number of issues, but then others remained. And of course I got a lot of messages from you viewers saying that we did not cover everything. We were not able to cover everything, and that is why today we are going to continue from where we left. You can engage with us: Facebook, YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram, Twitter at Maisha TV KE. You can text, call, or WhatsApp our phone number, which is 0746 999 841. But before we get into our today, some of the factors that we're going to tackle today, I would like to tackle some 2-3 questions from our viewers concerning our last topic, and I'll start with the first person, Sitasema Gina, because of some security issues. In terms of finances, I remember we talked about how finances can make or break a marriage. Now, in terms of finances, our current society does not allow, in quotes, one to get into a relationship where there is no money. I blame parents for this. It begins from ulezi mtoto akiwa mdogo. Your view on that, Irene?
I think he's already described it all, that he's blaming the parents, you know. Yeah, because we know that as we are raised, whatever was put in us is what makes us, you know. So if this is how you've raised these children, then it means you've given them the inspiration of going the direction of money. And so if they will get into a place where there's no money, then they know it is not life, because to them life is money. But we know from our discussion last time is that the foundation, and the best foundation for a marriage, is knowing God and, you know, welcoming God, because he's the author of this institution called marriage. And so if you're not going to accommodate God in your marriage, then it means it will be out of it. I know somebody saying, how can you even run a marriage without money? Yes, that is part of it. And you know what, one thing I know is that ukimkaribisha Mungu katika maisha yako, pesa haitakuwa issue. Na kwa sababu haitakuwa issue, it will come. Because God is so faithful. I don't think he can talk about one thing and then do the other thing. Whatever he says is what he's gonna do. So he's saying, you know, you must have faith on these issues in terms of even finances. So don't go into a marriage because of money. Go into a marriage because God has instituted this and has connected you to this person, your partner. And so you are going to run this race together, so that money becomes what is added unto you, because you've done what God wanted you to do, that is getting into this partnership and accommodating him in this partnership, because he's the one who started this. And so he has to really show us how to go about it, knowing that there is money in it. And so money will be supplied because we depend on him. So we can't go the way of God and then God just lets us go. And if there is, you know, when somebody gets into this and knowing who is the author of this, I'm not saying that you will not go through those ups and downs in terms of money. You will, for sure. And that is the same with even those people who are looking into it in terms of money. They'll also have a shake-up at some point. Because I don't believe, as we did say the other time, is that money is never constant. Money is something that varies every other time. So if this is what we know at the back of our minds, why can't we just accommodate the author of this? And even when there is no money or there is money, we're going to run this family all the same. Because the person who is putting the marriage together is still there. You know, despite the fact that money is not there, money is there. So money will help us to run our marriage, but money should not be the basis of it. And as you just put it, is about us parents. You know, I've been with a certain family where the mother did say, you know, basically, if you're not going to get married to a chumd guy, then we are done. We si mtoto wangu, tafuta sonko. And I'm like, how does sonko come even into marriage? You know, if you want a good sonko, is a sonko that you've worked together to get this money. But ule sonko umempata, umejua nani alimtengeneza. There's somebody who worked so hard to see that person wherever he is or she is, you see. So please, can you realize that there's somebody at the back of your mind, so that we don't just go in this because of money. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, parents, we are the cause of making a rule that money is a basis in a marriage. I agree with her 100%. But parents should realize that when God puts two people together, either with money or no money, there is a purpose. And there is no you can go on a hungry stomach, because you live in an era whereby we go out and look for money on a daily basis. We don't sit down and wait for money to come and find us. I remember there's a time I was talking to the youth of my church, and I posed a question to the girls, not to the young men, but to the young girls, and asked them this. If given an opportunity to choose between these two people, whom do you choose? A rich man or a young man who has got no money or whose salary is very little? Whom would you choose? And the girls were broad enough and said, I'll choose the rich man.
Okay.
I give them an example with myself. I got married to a young man who didn't have money. And this far I told them, we have worked together and God has blessed us together, and that is why you see us the way we are. So I posed the same question. Now between the rich guy and the rich young man that I fall in love with, whom would you choose? And they said, the poor man. So parents, what am I trying to say here? Whatever you put into that mind of your teenage girl is what is going to stick forever. So it is good as you talk to your children, hata kama wewe uliteseka kwenu na utaki mtoto wako ateseke, your life and her life are not the same, because the one who accomplishes our plans is God, and he has the plan of our children in hand. So let us undo that mentality of you need to get married to a rich person. I'll pose a question to the parents. For example, you are blessed with young men and you are not rich, and then the girls will be told don't get married into that family. How do you feel? It's always good that you think even before you mention it, because you could be pushing your girl to marry a rich man and yet to have sons in the same household. Are you going to push them to marry sugar mummies? Yeah, parents, we should be wiser, because whatever you feed our children are going to take that and take it seriously, because we are small gods to them. Yeah.
Yes, and another person said that you've talked about lack of intimacy, and that is happening to many marriages. Kindly, Irene and Sarah, help us on how to make our bond still strong, because we are in Aisha too at some point.
Yeah, intimacy is very key in marriage, and huwa inaisha vile anasema, if you really don't know how to make it grow and how to cultivate it. And we did say here last time that, you know what, intimacy revolves around, you know, being very open to your partner. And this involves, you know, as we continue getting deeper into marriage, it's like we are getting used to each other. And unajua, anything that umezoea huwa ni kama, it's taken like it's not very serious in your life. And we really need to get to a point where we realize that if we continue like this, then everything will go down the drain. So we need to see how to activate it or cultivate it or rejuvenate it again, so that it's something that still looks as fresh as it was. I know this is where the problem is, and it's because not so many of these married people get to a place where they are open to each other and say, I'm feeling like you're getting far away from me. So we are like, you're just giving it a cold shoulder. Siye pia elewe, amesonga mbali, I'm also going far. The intimacy will not be there because we are not open to each other to say, I'm feeling you're going far away, you know. You're getting involved into much of what you're doing rather than in our relationship. And what brought us together was this relationship. We have to make it strong as it's supposed to be. And so you find that if the couple, that is the two of them, are not going to be in a position to even realize in the first place that they are going far away from each other, then it will not be easy for them to come back, you know. So it's like, it's something that really need to trigger your mind that we are really going far away from each other. I know most of the time it looks like job, pengine mimi naenda kazi mbali, I only come over the weekends, and it becomes so normal that hiyo weekend nikikuja, pengine wewe pia umeenda kazi half day or the whole day again this Saturday, and maybe Sunday we get to church or whatever we are going to do. So it's like we are drifting away and away and away without even realizing, and then there's nothing that is telling us that how can we work it out so that we can come back to who we are. And then the intimacy ultimately dies. And because of even the children, much more, you find that when now the children are here, most of the time we focus into unahitaji nini, let's go out, let's go buy this. Mama alisahaulika, ama baba alisahaulika. Mama is just doing what needs to be done, baba is doing what needs to be done for the children, and then the rest of everything is gone, you see. So before we even go further let's always concentrate in trying to find out that atuko vile tulikuwa kama tumeanza our relationship, so something needs to be done. So if you're not going to be ready to realize this, then wakati una realize it will be too late, that kurudi itakuwa inawagharimu tena, itakuwa ni kugongana kabisa ndio mrudi sasa. Unaona, so it's something that married couples should realize, that kama tuko katika ndoa, usiwache mwenzako aende sana kama ni mazoea kwamba siye uenda kazi hivyo atarudi maybe after 2 weeks, after 6 months, and then it is normal, it's business as usual. No, itafika mahali it just breaks kabisa, kwa sababu mmesonga mbali, yani mwingine hata kufeel mwenzake inakuwa ngumu. But you know, you took it normally because mtu anafanya kazi mbali, or we are so engaged with what we are doing, mpaka tumesahau kama tunahitaji each other. You see, we've seen of these families where maybe the father or maybe the mother was working far away, na yeye akasahau boma lake kabisa. Yani anaweza kuja tu ana pop in, tena ata pop out tu hivyo, kwa sababu jamii pia ilishaelewa that is our dad, that is our mom, and that is how life is. Walijitafutia vile wana survive, yeye pia akatafuta vile ana survive huko. Umejua hao watu, ile time huyu mtu ataretire kurudi nyumbani, they'll never blend. Yani na unapatanga mmoja wao amekufa haraka kwa sababu hawakuzoeana. That gap was just too big, that if wanarudishwa na tena watarudishwa mara moja kwa sababu akiretire anaenda wapi? Si anarudi home. So akirudi ile home anapata hii home mimi sielewi vizuri, because he used to just come kama mgeni na naenda. Imefika wakati sasa he has to live here. Na ndio unapata hata watoto wanamwangalianga from afar. Hata akisema kitu ni kama anajiongelesha upande ule, because they don't really understand who this person is. He's never been giving no rules, no guidance, no nothing. So yeye ametokea wapi? The way we are big. Yeye atajipanga hapo. So this intimacy thing is up to the time you realize that you really need each other every other minute. Wachana na kusema 1 week, 2 weeks. No, every other minute you need each other. And that is why I advise young people, you know, most of the time I've been in an environment where unapata these young people, watu wakishaoana, msichana anapelekewa mama mkwe nyumbani, and then the boy goes out kutafuta. Sasa yeye ataenda tu out huko, ameishingi tu out. So issues start erupting hivi kidogo, sijui alisema nini, sijui amefanya nini. That gap is already becoming bigger, you see, as young as they are. And then wata adopt, na sasa kila mtu anakuwa na lifestyle yake. Inakuwa ngumu sana when it gets to old age, or even if it doesn't get there, utapata hii marriage inavunjika too abruptly bila kujua ni nini ili happen. That is what happened. They didn't realize that they're creating a gap that itakuwa ngumu sana kurudi kuifix. You see, and it is with very normal things that are happening on a day-to-day basis, you see, because tuna assume the man has to, and even if you ask these young women, interact with them, they're saying, mzee wangu lazima enda atafute. It's okay, but hiyo kutafuta, you can join him there. Mpatie muda kidogo anunue sufuria, stove. Nowadays you buy the makeup, the gas. Kitambo tulikuwa tunanunua stove. So you buy that thing, muwe na vile mnaweza pika, mukae huko. Mkirudi home, mrudi home. Lakini mambo ya kuachwa nyumbani ati wewe sijui ati yeye ameenda kutafuta kazi. What are you doing here? Did you get married to this house? My friend, it is a big no. And for the parents listening, please encourage those people to be together as much as they can, kwa sababu that intimacy is really going away in a normal setup, kwa sababu mnasema kijana ameenda kutafuta, so it's normal. Hata huyu msichana akitaka kuenda huko inakuwa gani vita, maana kijana jamzoea. Sasa unakuja huku kufanya nini? And the parents back at home pia wana support. Unasumbua mtoto wetu, why are you following him there? Si anatafuta. No, parents, please look for a way into which these people are going to stay together, wajuane huko, wakae huko, wajenge jamii yao, whatever it is. Na kama imeshindikana huko, kuja wakae hapo walime shamba, mabuoni wakiuza. It is something. You can earn from that. Mabuoni and the kales wanapata pesa. Badala ya kukaa huko mwingine huko alafu at the expense of a marriage. We don't encourage that.
Thank you, Irene.
The key thing to maintaining intimacy, survival, is communication. And we have talked about communication for a long time, and we still continue to talk about communication. However far or the distance of this couple, keep your line of communication open. We have the smartphones, we have the emails. Communicate. And don't get bored with each other or saying that I do not have much airtime to call. Even to say just hi, it is enough. And for those living together, make sure that every morning, every time, communicate with your spouse before he leaves the house, and even when he comes back to the house. Na unajua intimacy hukufa kwa sababu ya ile hali ya kuzoeana. Sasa tumeoana, ni wangu, mimi ni wake. Tuna shida na yeye kwa nyumba. Hiyo hali ya kuzoeana ndio tuvuje kabisa. Every time we wake up, we be like just a new married couple. Hata kama tumemaliza, we still behave like a new married couple. Tusiseme intimacy ilikuwa ya watoto. Now I'm talking about intimacy, everything inclusive. Tusiseme ilikuwa ya watoto, sasa tumezeeka. Now we just remain like strangers. No. We need to revive the fun we used to have when we are young. It still need to continue in all stages of our marriage, so that intimacy is maintained. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that. And still related to that, we have a lack of communication. I know we've talked about communication sana na sana. And this is really leading to many marriages breaking, because you'll find that huyu alikuwa na cha kusema lakini hakusema, na ule ana assume anajijazia vitu yake. How should couple deal with communication in their marriage?
I think communication, as we've repeated here, is that it's very key in a marriage. And if we lack communication, then we are lacking a bond that really will get our marriage to a place where it will not hold again. And as you're saying, most of the time we find that we have issues that we need to talk about, or we need to communicate over, but we find that there is something called fear in it. Maybe if I tell him or I tell her this, she will not be well with me, and this will end it all. I'd rather you'd think of, if I don't talk about this, then it will end, which literally is true. Rather than saying, if I tell them, they'll be mad at me, and then I'd rather you just say, and then this person gets mad, but at least kuna kitu imeingia ndani. And as we usually say, the truth will always set us free. As much as unaweza ona kwamba huyu mtu nikimwambia hivi hii jambo ataona kama nimemwambia ile ukweli na ile ukweli itamuumiza. Wacha imuumize, lakini imsaidie. Because I know it really makes a good basis of argument when somebody has been told the truth. As much as anaweza react hata vibaya, akafanya vitu, akienda kukaa mahali polepole, huwa anasikia hiyo kitu ikising, na najua hey, this is the right thing. Ninajua everybody, kila mtu huwezi niambia nani, kila mtu akiambianga ukweli, akikaa mahali huwa kuna, there's that it's called the conscience that tells you that this was the truth. As much as I was denying and refusing, that was the truth. So that's why I would rather niambie mtu ukweli hata kama tutapata ways. Because nimejua tumepata way on a level that kuna siku hata kama sitakuwa atanikumbuka, because nimemwambia what needs to be done. And hivyo kama take serious, because penye yako anajua that was the truth. So I know this lack of communication is brought in with that thing I'm calling fear. And you know, fear, even in the Bible, out of the research, we are told that it is written 365 times. Meaning, fear is something that you have to deal with on a daily basis. So if you're not going to deal with fear, then it means fear will deal with you. So don't fear telling somebody something. I know the reason why sometimes this fear comes in is you once tried and it never worked out well for you. So the reason why it never worked well most of the time is because maybe you never communicated the right way. You know, we also have skills of communication. We don't just communicate because you're communicating. I think there's a way you're going to communicate ili mwenzako aielewe. Na tena kama basis yako ya communication ni kwa upendo, ile unataka mtu arekebike ama afanye the right thing, utapata it reaches home. Lakini kama basis yako ni kutaka kumsomea na ajue wewe huko, my friend, it will be gone. Because the truth of it is still now not in you. Kwa sababu everything we do, let it be conceived in the truth that is in it. Because if you do that, you'll find that whatever you're trying to put across will be accepted, will be received the way it's supposed to be. But if the basis of doing everything is out of deceit, out of, you know, things like pride and all that stuff, hautafika mahali. So I'm telling those people who maybe are trying to communicate and finding that communication has become the worst, is because maybe you don't have a skill of communication. You really don't know how to bring it. You don't know the time to bring that kind of communication. Na kwa hivyo yule mtu una communicate naye, inapatikana kwamba pengine hakuelewi, ajui unatokea wapi. Pengine wewe unaanziaga tu katikati. You know, something has just happened, na huyu mtu pengine hakuwa na history ya huko nyuma. Wewe umeanzia mahali. Sasa anashindwa, kwani this person is talking about. Na umejua umechemka ukichangamka ukienda. Atakuachanisha hapo na hata sikia chenye unasema because haja kuelewa. But if you get to communicate from the right point of view, then you find that whoever you're communicating to will absorb this. And then again, who are you communicating to and how are you communicating to this person? Kuna watu wana address maybe the spouse vile tumekuwa tukisema hapa juu ya mazoea. Ukizoeana na mtu unaanza kumaddress ni kana kwamba ni I don't know what. Because you know you can't come from somewhere and that's tell your husband hebu toa hizo vyombo kwa meza, you are talking to who? You know, and then akikuangalia na respond you are like hivyo ndio vile huwa huko huwezi saidia mtu chochote. You know, what are you talking about? You know, this is how you can communicate to your husband and this is how you can communicate to your children and your house help. So you can't huwezi toka unajua saa zingine and then we start complaining that you know this guy cannot help me, wanasema watu wasaidiane, wewe ndio ulikuja vibaya. There is a way in which ukiongea tu na mtu hata saa zingine umuongeleshi. You know, that's why I'm talking about skills of communication. Communication does not mean sometimes even utoe sauti. This is how we communicate. Facials, you know, expressions differently. But yeah, so you can bring out all these things in a way that mtu akiona naona enyewe hapa kanisiposaidia huyu mama enyewe leo kitakuwa kimeumana. So somebody just drifts into it kwa sababu communicate the right way. But if you don't know how to communicate, you'll end up that you had a very important thing to put across. But because you came with it in a wrong way, wewe umetoka aya itaenda hivyo. Na imagine ilikuwa kitu ingesaidia jamii, ingeweka basis ya hata watoto wako kusimama juu yake, lakini you spoiled it from the time you're starting it out. So we really have to realize how we put our communication across. And so that lack of communication is surrounded with so many things that are making this communication not go the way it's supposed to go. But otherwise, communication should not lack in any given family. I've seen families where people have been, you know, in different places. Vile tunasema mtu anaishi huku and then tulizoea hivyo. Hata ukiwa na shida yako, you can sort it out with somebody else and not your spouse. Kwa sababu unaona huyo somebody else akusikie vizuri na akusaidie vile tulikuwa tunasema hapa. Sara alikuwa anasema kuna watu tuna communicating na wengine si ati tunataka watusaidie, tunataka watu encourage kwa kile yenye tunataka kufanya, which is mostly the wrong thing, you see. So that is how you're communicating, and you're communicating even to the wrong person, you see. So communication is something that you really have to realize, how am I going to put it across? And then the other person will understand you. Lakini kama una lack zile skills za communicate, the communication, then you'll find that you'll not communicate well.
Find the right way to communicate. Sure. Thank you.
Communication is very key in marriage because like that time I said it is on that to help us theorize the atmosphere of each other. Am I angry? Am I happy? But like Irina has been saying, let us learn how to communicate. And communication, Chebet, is not just talking. There are different ways of communication. We have written communication. We have verbal, now I'm communicating. And we have gestures, I'm also communicating. We have that facial expression. Naweza niongelesha nikupatie jicho lingine na kukwambia hi. I'm not in the mood of being bothered. So communication,
not in the mood.
Takes so many dimensions, and it is us spouses to learn each other. You know, when we come together like this from different backgrounds, we have different likes and dislikes, and in these likes and dislikes, at times when we pass our communication, it is when now we negatively interpret that information that we're getting from the different spouse. Na tafadhali viewers, tuweke mazungumzo ikiwa on and verbal. Ikifika ni gestures, unless ni pale umesukumwa kwa ukuta na unataka kufanya nini? Kuongea, ukiongea, could be the next thing you know, you have landed a slap on somebody's salon daughter. See? So as you communicate, you get to know the mood of your spouse. Is she angry? Is he happy? Or is he in the mood of storytelling? Or is he stressed up? Or is he just happy? So communication is not as difficult as it may be. It becomes difficult, one, if there is something that has hurt or angered you. Kubi umekuja kurealize ama umeambiwa mume nimemuona ama bibi nimemuona. Sio kwanza umeimeza. Alafu umenyamazia. So ukimuona unashangaa nitamuongelesha kivipi ama nimnyamazie tu, because already umeamini yenye umeambiwa na hujafanya utafiti wako. So unless our personality again makes us not communicate, like I normally say, kuna those introverts and the extroverts. An introvert is very quiet. And then is married to an extrovert. So you introvert, you know, you might get tired of the extrovert. And even the extrovert might get tired because of the introvert. Because huyu haongei, huni anaongea sana. Na hapa ndipo nilikuwa nasema balancing. Learn to understand whom you are married to. Learn to understand kama mtu wako ni yule akiambiwa jambo la kumkosoa analichukulia very negatively. Na anaanza mashida hapo. Ananionaga, ananiabiaga, ananidharawi. You get? So let us learn to learn how each one of us behaves and how he interprets things or she interprets things. For example, if I tell you, please move this cup from here, place it here, and then you take it like I have commanded you, the next time to tell you to move this cup from here to here, I should not come up with another idea of communication. No? Communication is just the way we put our words, the way we play with our words, so that we don't hurt one another, and it shall be kept open.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for that, and thank you, Irene. We're going for a short commercial break, and in our second part, we will tackle the issue of infidelity, which is also a big issue. We've seen a number of cases, even online, and particularly we will handle one case after the break. I'll be talking about it, so don't go away. Keep the conversation going on Facebook, YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram, Twitter at Maisha TV KE. You can text, call, or WhatsApp or phone number, which is 0746 999 841. I'm Rida Karim Tibet, and I'm with Irene Bubushebi together with Sarah Muridi. Stay tuned. There is a saying, behind every great man is a great woman. But there is a divide, a gap, a separation. It's about acknowledging the unseen efforts, the disparity, and expectations. Support. What does it mean to have support? To give support? To live without support? It's time that support goes both ways. Because beside every great man is a great woman.
Hii ni stesheni iliyochaguliwa kuwa bora zaidi na kupewa ushindi wa kuza na kitengo cha mawasiliano cha serikali.
And the winner is Maisha TV.
Maisha TV. Stesheni inayokuwa kwa kasi. Stesheni inayokujali mtazamaji.
You can trust the award-winning TV station.
Stesheni inayojali mwananchi wa Kenya.
Biashara imeanza kudidimia sana, unapata customer wanalia.
Stesheni inayotoa mafunzo, maelezo na taarifa kwa kina zaidi.
Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, Millicent Luamba, Maisha Prime News.
For Maisha Prime. For Maisha Prime.
For Maisha Prime Education Segment. For Maisha Prime News.
Hii ni runinga ya Maisha.
Marker, take 3.
We are here to make your day. This is Maisha TV, of course the fastest growing TV station and the award-winning channel you can't miss out on educating, entertaining and informative shows. Women Talk, The Drift, Love Honse, S Sample, Sos Me Vida, Masomo News Live, Prime News, Maisha Kids, MTV Summons, music shows, politics, leadership and governance and many more. It's all here on StarTimes. We are on channel 108, GOTV 808 and all free-to-air decoders. Social media too as Maisha Television Kenya. You know what? Just choose it, watch it and love it. This is the place where it all happened. The stories that continue to change our country.
And at present we have got one student who is now at a BBC World Service working.
These are the faces we see.
Business studies.
Is Madam Susi Masala.
Walter
Usolo, Shem Milembwa.
The voices we hear.
Glad you're tuned in. You're still tuned in to Maisha TV now every day here on Maisha Prime News. We air feature from different schools across the country
that have revolutionized societies through education. This is who we are. One channel, one bulletin. Masomo News Live. Join us every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. for Masomo News Live, exclusive to Maisha TV.
Alright, glad you're still tuned in to Maisha Television. You're watching Maisha Prime, Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rida Kering Chebet and I'm with Irene Mumbo Bushebi together with Sarah Muridi. We're talking about some of the factors that lead to marriages to break out there. And as I promised in our second part, we're going to start with infidelity. And before we get into this factor, there is a case in one of the countries where a lady known as Martha was caught red-handed in a matrimonial home or a bed, and she was heavily pregnant, and the husband caught her with a pastor. And ukiangalia walikuwa wameset hadi hapo chini kulikuwa na candles, as in it was a romance thing. And the wife was really heavily pregnant. She was in fact almost delivering, if I'm not wrong. And the husband decided to take his phone, film the whole thing. And in the video you can see Martha begging, apologizing, but the husband was alikuwa amekasirika sana. And multiple reports indicate that Martha has committed suicide, and it's due to trauma, because of guilt and all those cases. Na me commit suicide, nakumbuka that she was pregnant. In this case, I remember we talked about this if you watch The Drift with Bushebi Jr. And we had some conflicting views. My opinion, I'll not say my opinion. I'll let Sarah and Irene give their opinions, then I will finish with mine. Let me start with Sarah.
Okay, I am looking at this case of being of infidelity of this lady and this pastor. Pastor, one, I said they are human beings. And for this woman to reach to a point whereby she is impregnated by her pastor, and the husband is there, because you mentioned she was heavily pregnant. And were they living with the husband?
Yes, with the husband.
Still heavily pregnant. And the husband didn't realize that the heavily pregnant woman was carrying his baby.
Alikuwa anajua ni mke wake yuko na mimba. Then alienda, I think sijui alikuwa ameenda kazi ama nini. Then kurudi anapata mke wake nyumbani na pastor. Pastor amekuja kwake.
So the pregnancy is for this
but it seems like she's for this man.
It's for this man. Yes. So the woman was found in another man's home. In her home.
Yes.
The pastor is one who came into this
lady's home.
Yeah. When the husband
was not around
there.
Yes.
So that this lady reaches to a point of inviting another man into her house. The question I'm begging to ask myself is, what did the husband not compliment or complete in this woman? Because for a woman to go out, there is a void that has been left by the husband, and she's going to seek it from another man. Because you see, when you are married, you must complement each other emotionally, physically, intimacy, and everything, such that you don't leave a void, that another man is going to fill that void for you. You may provide all that money to this lady, but are you providing emotional support? Are you providing love to this woman? Are you respecting this woman? Is she feeling like I am married to this person, or I'm just here because he's providing all these physical things, but emotionally we are not connecting, intimately we are not connecting, so that we don't have that void. And now the man comes in and finds them celebrating, say they were in that romantic, and I'm sure the man has never done that to the wife. So the pastor knows how to keep this woman to feel like you are wanted. You know, you are made to feel that you are in the right place. And men out there listening to me this afternoon, make sure that you don't leave a void whereby another man is going to fill the void for you. Na ndio nikasema hata kama ni lollipop, remember that time I was saying, hata kama ni lollipop, letea mwanamke, atasikia vizuri, you appreciate this woman. So now the man comes here and finds the woman and the pastor and takes a photo and sends it to the internet, and then everything explodes. A wise man does not do that, either out of anger, either out of emotion. A wise man sits down and asks himself very many questions. Am I the cause of this, or am I not the cause of this? Because it comes just not out of the blues, it comes from somewhere. And then before you click that clip to the whole world, ask yourself, do I love this lady, or do I hate her because I'm married to her? Because if the marriage was based on love, I believe there are ways of solving disputes. Yeah, you've caught her with the pastor. she's your wife of many years. Does she stop becoming a wife because of this certain day? Because I know it's so painful kupata mtu akiwa hivyo. But now kumweka kwa social media, is it helping? It has brought another issue. She killed herself out of guilt. Because when she was doing it, she did not know it can come to this. But she was caught red-handed. And her dignity imeondolewa nini yote. Ameanikwa kwa ulimwengu. But the pastor hung himself. Did you hear like the pastor hung himself? The life of a man still continues. But for the wife, for the woman,
it has
stopped. And that is how we are women. You get? So this man should have sat down with the wife before even kuanika pastor na mchungaji. Amuulize, for how long has this been going on? And they start communicating. And not because the Bible is very clear. Infidelity is the only thing that can make a man and wife divorce or separate. They begin the process of divorce. And then mwanamke aamue kama ataenda na mchungaji ama atabaki na huyu. Na mimi wanasema hakuna dhambi yenye hawezi kufanya nini? Guys, you cannot everything you can forgive. But because of the anger that first comes, we are blinded by anger, emotions. Amenifanyia hii kwa nini? I don't know, men are very jealous. Hata ni vizuri ya kumuua. Alimweka kwa social. They kill because mwanamke wake amechukuliwa na mwingine na amejua. You get? But now there is always a way of communication. We have heard of even presidents whose their wives were caught in a very complicating, or their men were caught. Ndio tumewasikia. Wao wananikana ama wao they protect one another. So they protect one another, to be sincere. They protect one another. So that the dignity of that president is not compromised. You get? So this man and any man out there listening to this communication, if you find your wife in a complicated situation with another man, if you love your marriage, usianike kwa dunia. They will not help you. They will tell you, kama ni mimi namuua saa hiyo, kama ni mimi namfanyia hivi. Because now this man, the wife is no more. Now I'm trying to ask myself, for the woman to reach here, the man, because like was not fulfilling the conjugal rights properly, where was he fulfilling them? So that the woman can go to look for somewhere else. And this is the gaps that Irene has been talking about, line of communication. Ukienda nje, kumbuka to maintain that intimacy through communication. Do not break it, because if you break it, we are going to see the fruits of that lack of communication. And this is one, lack of communication. But according to me, the man did not do that thing in a right way. The girl again did not do whatever she did in the right way. She should not have taken her life, because being caught in such a way, you don't judge yourself harshly. You must love yourself and say, yes, amenipata, and this I cannot change, because vitu zingine ukishikwa nazo, hey, to arrest them to take centuries. So it is you to learn how to live with it without judging yourself. So viewers out there, ukishikwa in such a situation, usikimbie kujinyoga. Ati dunia yote imejua. Imejua, si ndio? Na hata ikijua itafanya nini? Si watacheka leo, wakuogelele leo, kesho na kesho kutu, alafu after month so wamesahau. So now why kill yourself? Kill an innocent child in the body. Na pia nyinyi wanaume wenye mko huko nje, before museme mwanamke wangu anaenda nje na wengine, hebu jiulize, which part have you not played ili akanyage nje kwa wengine? That's my take.
Well,
It's a complicated thing because now you've lost lives, and it's because of something that could not, something that could have been repaired before this, we can say so. Because I think there's always something like people don't understand, when a woman is pregnant, what happens now to the husband or even to that woman. And these are things that people really need to find out and know what they need to do. And if you don't know, somebody will take advantage. I think the pastor took advantage of what was happening. And that's very wrong for that pastor. I don't even want to still continue calling him a pastor because it's wrong. But I know pastors are human beings as well. They can be tempted to whatever level, but we are not giving a room for them to go that far. Why should you go there? Because when you see the setup of everything, how do you even have a candlelit whatever in somebody else's bedroom and with all the luxury and everything? That's very wrong. I think this is why nowadays we're even saying we are having these people we call the men of the cloth who are putting on ile wanasema ngozi ya kondoo, but there are wolves right inside. Because you can't do that as a pastor. There's no way, because what the arena of everything, the setup is showing us this was a very relaxed mood. Everybody is taking their sweet time. How do you take sweet time in somebody else's house, for God's sake? What does the Bible say? Ndoa iheshimiwe na watu wote na malazo yawe safi. Is it so? Yeah. Kwa hivyo you can't do that. No. So I still am catching with the pastor, but at the end of the day, I think that's a story for another day. And then now I was talking about, people taking advantage. When a woman is pregnant, does not mean that her sexual life has ended. There's how you can be advised on how you can have your sexual life continuing, even with the pregnancy. So there's how people are advised. And the women, that is why we are talking about communication. Sometimes we fear. You're saying, nikimwambia hivi ataniteka aje, because I'm heavily pregnant as it might be. But now you are going to give yourself out to somebody else who maybe knows that this act continues even in this time of your pregnancy. So this person takes advantage, and then because maybe you've not communicated to your husband, you're saying, because this one knows and he can help me, then let's get into this. It's not like that. Can we get to communication? Ata kushanga, but you'll help him into this so that he knows what really needs to be done. So that we don't end there. And those are the things I was saying. Don't conceal something saying that atanionaje. Now the truth is, ukimwambia hivi so that we do that thing that way, then it will save our marriage, rather than we conceal and then we end up in such situations, you see. And then Sarah has touched on it, a sacrifice for each other. That is what we call love. When you get somebody in such a situation, I don't think you need to, because at the end of the day, vile ameonyesha watu wote, wamempea nini? Have they paid him? They've not. I know his heart to ameumia. Lakini sasa kuumia yako umeongeza chumvi kwa maumivu. Kwa sababu sasa vile umeambia watu badala yake wanakucheka. When you walk around, people are like, yule mwenye bibi yake. Sasa. So I would rather you could have put it somewhere and then you talk to this woman. Pengine ange open up, ungepata, maybe you're talking about this. Pengine this man aliwacha huyu mama for so many years. Ndiye amerudi. Unaona? And this lady has been carrying this pregnancy. Ajui baba ya mtoto alienda aje, vile alienda kazi, maybe even cut communication, anajua that one is pregnant, wacha tumwache huko. Like I was telling you about these people, I meet the young couples. Ati the young boy anakujanga tu kupeana mimba na anaenda. Anajua huyu wako na mimba, sasa hawezi fanya chochote. Wa mama walierevuka. Na hiyo mimba yeye anaishingi kwa mwingine. Akijua huko karibu kurudi, na kwa sababu wewe unajua ati hiyo mimba amebeba, sasa she's just home. She is not home. She knows how to survive with it. So these are some of the things we are talking about. Please, it's not about, just kupea mtu mimba na kuenda. Emotional support. That lady is going through so much. And she needs somebody to tell her, you know what, it will be well. Whatever pain you are going through, the adjustments in your body, everything that is changing, it's well. I'm here for you. I have your back. That's what she needs. And then the pastor offered that. And everything happened. So at the end of the day unapata kama wangekaa chini waongee, hata huyu mtu angepata amekuwa na makosa kubwa sana. And that is why you find that even this lady aliendelea na akajinyonga. Maana anasema he's really mistreated me. I'm not saying that is the case. If that is the case, that is because we found out that some of these things, the reason why somebody even ends to that, unapata alipata uchungu mara mbili. Mimi huyu mtu aliniwacha vile alinipa mimba, alienda my life has been nothing. Huyu jamaa amekuwa ni support, ananiombea, you know,
anaguzaguza
anaguzaguza, anaongea na mtoto. Sasa huyu amekuwa more baba ya mtoto. So whatever he wants, I'm ready, you know. But that is not the thing, even to that woman I'm saying so, because usijipeane kama mume wako amekataa. Just depend on God, you know, tell God to give you the strength to move a day and another. We are not saying that kama mtu amekufanyia hivyo, because we are talking about sacrifice here. So yes, he's not sacrificed for you, but can you sacrifice for him in not doing what is wrong for him? Because when you're doing anything kwa mwili wako, sasa wanasema your body is not yours anymore. It belongs to your husband, it belongs to your wife. So if you're doing something against him or against her in your body, then you know that is wrong to God. And vile tumesema, God is the one who instituted marriage. So whatever you are doing, na kuna scriptures zinaongea juu ya when you put a vow before the Lord, make sure that you fulfill that vow. So the vow was, I will stick to you whatever the situation. So the situation came. Instead of sticking to this man, you looked for another one. So okay, I'm saying, if maybe that was the case and she realized that I've suffered so much, this guy has not been there for me, pengine hata nikimpigia simu hapatikani, here he is, amekuja badala hata kuniuliza shida ni nini, mimi nimejipeana kwa mtu ambaye amekuwa akinisaidia, you know, like this lady has been singing about this Bahati Bukuku, the way she got pregnant with the doctor. When she was trying to save the life of the same husband. You see, the husband now is mad and everything is getting, there was one wise person. You know, when we give room for communication, sometimes we'll find that we get a solution. So this guy maybe angekaa chini na huyu mama angepata, huyu mama ni nini haswa ilimsukuma hapo. You see, and maybe even their pastor just ambushed her, akasema wewe naona kama there is some responsibility that somebody is not taking care of. You know, as we are saying, these people, they are in clothes na wanaweza kuwa wamevaa hizo, their walls inside. You see, so we have to also take care. Saizi dunia si kama vile tulikuwa tunafikiria. You can't just trust somebody like that. Kwani yeye ni Mungu. The only person you need to put right inside your heart is God. And once you put God in your heart, God will guide you unto which people are you going to relate with and how are you going to relate with these people. So I don't know, I even don't know who to blame here, but I'm blaming everybody there. You know, because the pastor, kwanza wewe, I don't know, penye uko hata wewe, ingawaje si vizuri kusema hivyo, you did a very wrong thing. I don't know how you're going to do it. You are not here. And then the man, you also did it wrong, kwa sababu haunge fanya hivyo. I think you could have done something ambayo kweli inaonyesha uchungu ambao ulikuwa nao, lakini not to that extent, because as you've told everybody, it has not helped. Now you've even lost your wife. Ule pengine kama anamke ama hajaoa anaenda kuoa, sasa wewe utabaki hapo, pengine una watoto wengine, you've lost one of your kids, pengine vile umeharibu CV yako pia, hakuna mke anataka kuolewa kwako. Nasema siku nyingine hata akinipata nikifanya kitu pengine not this, atanichukua tena kwa video anitupe kwa mtandao. I'm not going for him. So you will end up not even having a wife. And then now we've lost the other lady. She should have thought of herself, like Sarah said. You know, she should have loved herself to sacrifice. Usually I say that kama umefanya makosa, kuwa tayari kulipia gharama ya hiyo makosa. Because even God forgives, but you pay the price. Yes, I've said this several times here. Kwa sababu ukiwa umefanya kitu kibaya, wewe unataka hiyo kibaya kiende wapi? And as the Bible tells us, whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. So automatically vile ulipanda kitu kibaya, lazima kibaya iwe. Kwa hivyo kubali hata kurushwa katika mtandao, watu wote wa kublacklist kila mahali, lakini utakuwa unalipia so that you can now refresh your life and start afresh. Hao watu wote hawatakuwa kwa maisha yako, ni wewe utaishi maisha yako. So you can still make it right after you made it wrong. You know, so it's still about you. So that lady, she should not have done that, but we really don't know what pushed her to that level. Now that is now the accomplishment of the devil. Whenever you see the devil is pushing you to do something wrong, ujue lazima anataka, wanasema anakuja kuiba, anakuja kuharibu na kuua. So most probably that is what the devil wanted. At the end of the day, angeua mtu na ashafanya huyo msichana akakufa. Hao wengine wote wamebaki wamekufa spiritually. The two men, they are now dead spiritually. Because you know there is nothing you can talk about here. Ule mwingine vile amefanya mwanamke wake amekufa, he is dead. Huyu vile amefanya makosa na mke wa wenyewe, he is also dead spiritually, as much as anatembea, that he is dead. You see, so the devil has accomplished his mission. So please don't, I've always told you, msipe shetani chenye anataka. Please deny him, because he's not always good with us. He'll always want you to do the wrong thing.
I'll just read some of the comments from Kenyans or people out there, what they said over the whole thing. And women sana hapa tena tuli tofautiana kabisa. Most women were blaming the husband for the death of the wife, but men have a different opinion. Like Valeria said, that hope her husband is now happy. People make mistakes, but he had to put his family issues online. Men are akaeka hiyo ni ya dustbin. Then mwingine akasema the baby did not deserve it. Mwingine anasema are you happy? The moment you guys understand that once a woman is pregnant or in her periods, her emotions are all over, and what they need most is attention, such things won't be happening. Mwingine anasema that are you sure you are God fearing like you have on your huyo ni anaongelea vitu yake. Then I just want to comment from a man. Mwanamke mwingine alisema it's the husband I blame for recording that video. That is not how things are handled. Hope he will live with the guilt and burden that he led to loss of 2 lives. Then mwanaume anasema that she committed 2 sins, straight to hell where she belongs. And mwingine alichukua side ya Martha, alisema that I feel really sad because I never got to hear Martha's side. Also I have a strong feeling that the pastor could have coerced Martha or lured her to using his authority over her. And then mwanaume mwingine anasema wow, not you justifying cheating and trying by all means to paint the women as innocent. She cheated. All this you are saying is a bad attempt at justifying a cheating woman. Just accept that she cheated. So ukiangalia opinion ya wanawake, they are like they are blaming the husband for the death of the wife, but men are saying that
the lady was wrong.
Yeah, the lady was wrong. Let's start with
of course everybody takes the side where she is.
Yeah, you'll always support yours.
But we are not going to support ours. We are going to look into it in a very broad or dimension, whereby this is a marriage. A marriage which is a partnership between 2 people, a male and a woman, who are of age and they got married. They've been married for a long time. And then somewhere along the way, rifts began coming in, all conflicts began coming in. And now, solving of the conflicts, they were not able to handle it. And could be they looked for solutions from the wrong places. Like the other time was saying, you want for a solution for your marriage, run to a friend, she'll get out of that marriage. If you want your marriage to be sustained, go to a counselor, a marriage counselor. At our guide, the 2 of you, and they're going to stick together. So in this case, there is something somewhere that went wrong between these 2 couple. So we cannot say the man is the one on the wrong, or the girl is the one on the wrong, or the pastor is the one on the wrong, because they are all on the wrong. And mostly the couple, tukiondoa mchungaji, is the one that is on the wrong. Who is supposed to guard the marriage? The two. So they allowed at that party to come into the marriage. And Chebet have repeated there severally, if you allow at that party to come into your marriage, that marriage is going to fall apart. So here, because we are not having the ability to hear their side of the story, we cannot be judgmental and say that the woman is one who cheated on the husband, because we can say the man is the one who pushed the wife into cheating. We can say again, the woman sent the man cheating. Like, remember that question that a viewer aliuliza, can my behavior make my husband cheat on me? So we do not know whether the behavior of mother pushed the husband away, and now when the husband was pushed away, now the pastor comes in. Could be she's a deacon in the church, or could be she's a choir mistress in the church, and these people are close to the pastors, you know. And or could be, I'm saying could be, when mother had issues, she believed in her pastor, and so she'd go pour out her issues to the pastor, and the pastor, we have a listening ear and a very accommodative heart. So the moment she was going to pour her heart out to the pastor took advantage of her weaknesses and of her, what will I call it? You know, when you are desperate, he took advantage of the desperate situation that mother was in, and it led to this. There's a case, or there's a story that once was told of a lady who always used to get sick. And so when she went to visit the doctor, and the doctor, having diagnosed her, gave her a hug. And she became very happy and she got healed. So when she went back home, she was a very excited lady and woman and a wife. And the husband noticed the change. And so the next time he said, I'm going to accompany to your doctor. And the woman said, let us go. And so she was accompanied and went to the doctor. And the doctor did the same thing, hugged the lady in front of the husband. And the lady was so excited. And now the doctor said, this is the medicine that I'm giving your wife. So what does that tell us in this story? That the husband was not hugging the wife. So husband, hug your wife. So that they don't get sick of being hugged. So that another man is not going to cure them through the hugs. So what I'm saying is that in this case, the husband would have become the doctor of mother in every step of her pregnancy. And women, we know emotions zinarise wakati, na inaweza kuwa negative, inaweza kuwa positive. So do not allow your emotions to work on you in the negative way. Contain your emotions. When you are pregnant for the rest of your life, just as you are pregnant today, are you going to be pregnant for 2-3 years consecutive? No, you only get pregnant for 9 months, or even less. Kuna tu premature. So you only be pregnant for those 9 months. And before the bump is huge, siku zingine it is not huge. So I'm sure the intimacy should be taking place. And if it is huge, there are also other ways of compensating. So let not pregnancy women make us do negative things that are going to harm our marriages. And the devil fights marriages very, very much. Like last time I said, marriage is a society, is a church. They say everything. So when it is broken, do we have a church? Do you have a society? So the devil must fight with marriages. So here, Chebet Irene, I cannot blame, I cannot say that mother is on to blame. She pushed the husband to cheat on her. And I cannot say, because all of them, they are having their weaknesses in this. And we agreed from the beginning who was to guard this marriage.
The husband.
The two.
The husband.
Husband has a role. Irene is saying the husband. And for sure I can agree with her, the husband. Because if the husband is able to provide, you know, a man provides security. Provides material wealth. Provide emotional wealth to this woman. If he was able to provide all these, na sana sana love na respect. You know, you have not talked about infidelity. We are coming there. And all these things contribute to infidelity. If the man truly was able to provide all this, asiache ka gap, kama mwanaume mwingine kufanya nini? Kuigia.
Because imagine, Sarah, somebody is seriously pregnant the way they are putting it. Where was the husband? You are seriously pregnant, you can give birth at any time. Kwani huyu baba alikuwa wapi?
Alikuwa wapi?
You can't tell me you'll be far away for like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours na mke karibu anajifungua, and then you are comfortable where you are, only to come with a video.
With a video.
My friend, that is a big no.
Hata najiuliza alikuwa kwa dirisha akiwachuguliaga alafu akatime ama he had a spy.
Yeah, so me there something is just really wrong, and that is where we come in with the fact that the husband is always the priest of this home, and the priest is always in the church. My friend, where is the church? As if we start coming into this thing vizuri, wakati mwingine yes tunajua tunakosea, and Sarah's just mentioned that about weaknesses. Everybody has a weakness, but all these weaknesses kuna mahali nitakana strength iwe. So where is this strength missing, so that we get into these problems? Most of us nowadays, we brought in the laxity that is here. Shetani anaingilia mahali penye tumemfungulia mlango. Kama mlango umefungwa, shetani haingia.
Hawezi.
Kwa hivyo don't give a door to the devil and then come here start putting everything online. We are not interested. Ingawaje we get interest kwa sababu saa zingine hii vitu inatu concern. Unapata leo wanasema sijui ni wapi Zambia, Zimbabwe, kesho iko hapa kwa neighbor ama kwako nyumbani. So before we start thinking about other people, we are thinking about ourselves, and that is why we are talking to you today. Please, the husband as the priest of this home. Your wife seriously pregnant, chukua nafasi. I don't know if it is in the night that this thing was happening or in the day. And if it is in the night, surely that man before you start doing this, it is very wrong.
It was during the day.
And even if it is in the day, this is somebody you should be checking on every other time, because she's seriously pregnant as they are putting it. Somebody seriously pregnant, huwezi jua. Na pengine na ni kama alikuwa kwa nyumba peke yake, because now how would this pastor have gotten access to this house if other people were here? So it means she was alone in the house, in the house, not trying to reach her, not knowing what she's doing. You should be checking on her. So these are some of the things that tumezoea, vile tulikuwa tunasema kuzoeana. Tumezoea kwamba mwanamke akisha kuwa seriously pregnant, akiona inaumana, akimbia aende hospitali, utamfuata, ama hata utamfuata, utatuma dada yako, unitumie dada yako. Because now we got this together. So please be here, help me. Nahitaji the emotional strength that we are talking about. So some of these things are just because of our own laxity and not knowing. Unajua Biblia inasema we so many people are perishing because of lack of knowledge, vision and all that stuff. So once you lack something, that's why it's good to always try and find out what is it. Vile mke wangu ni ako mjamzito, what am I supposed to do? And even sit with her and ongea na yeye. Unasikia unahitaji nini? You'll get to realize where she's needing something, she's in need of this. Hata vile ulikuwa unasema kuna wanawake hawataki kuona that husband. Please try to get your way into her heart. Whatever way, utajipata mahali. Hata ongea tu na yeye kwa simu, hataki kukuona. Muulize, now what do you want me to do? Because if you're pushing me away now, how will we help each other? Because I want to be close to you to know. Because maybe if this is a first experience, hatutakuwa hivi siku zote, because you're going to give birth to 2-3 children. Itakuwa ukiwa na mimba, mimi naenda Nairobi ama naenda Uganda nitarudi. No, it's not like that. Look for a way into which we are going to blend as much as the devil is trying to put us apart. Na vile Sarah amesema, these emotions, we can control them.
Yeah, we can.
Because emotions are in us, and us, we are stronger than those emotions. So please, you can control your emotions. Ukikataa kuona mume wako, unataka kuona nani? You see, so please, if this is what is happening within you, kuna vitu vile tunasema God is the one who started all this, hata hiyo pregnancy. So talk to him, muulize, nimekata, sitaki kuona huyo mtu, na kama nitakosa kumuona nani atanisaidia? Because there is no any other person who is supposed to help me more than him. You see.
Well, let's now go into infidelity. I know we've talked about I know we've mentioned some of these issues in this case of Martha. Now, infidelity in marriage, how should couple ensure that it doesn't happen? And in case it happens, how should couples deal with it?
Infidelity, as we talk about it, it contains different versions. Because I'm sure I believe that infidelity is just going out and having intimacy with another person who is not yours, and you get pregnant like mother, and then it is, mother was pregnant, you don't know with whose baby. But we have this form of infidelity, chebetarin, whereby people text one another. They communicate via messages with people who are not their spouses, their emotions with that other person. So mwanamke amewekwa kando ama mwanamume amewekwa kando. You get? And for this infidelity to come in, this is what we are saying. Tuzibe nini? Nyufa. We give all our attention to each other because one, God put us there as companionship, as helpers. Companionship is friendship.
Yeah.
So I need to be a friend to my spouse. You need to be a friend to your spouse. Let us share our secrets together. Let us share our joy together. Let us share our sadness together. Lakini hii maneno ya kujifanya ati you are not content with your wife, tunamwangalia unaona ai nilimwona akiwa physically attractive but now nimeona ni kama amebadilika. Do not give that as an excuse. You're supposed to love your man, your wife the way she is. Kama ulimpata akiwa 1GB na ameenda akakuwa 2GB, 3GB, 4, 8GB. Can you learn to love this man and this wife the way he is? Kama ulimpata akiwa hana pesa na bado hazikuji, endelea kufanya nini? Kumpenda. Siku moja ukijua hizi pesa zitafanya nini? Zitakuja. So let us learn to appreciate each other. And the Bible says that man has authority over the wife like Jesus has authority over the church. Wanaume hamjaambiwa mkalie wanawake because Biblia imesema you are the real priest of your families. Jesus is love. So man should be able to love the wife. And the wife should be able to submit to the man.
Yeah.
And man should be able to respect the wife. Na mwanaume ambaye amerespect bibi yake, huyo bibi anajisikiaga akiwa in the right place. So what am I trying to say with so many words? If men are able to love their women as they should, hakuna siku atafugua nini kawido ya shetani kufanya nini kuingilia ati mwanamke ataenda kutafuta urafiki nje.
Yeah.
Pia nasi wanawake tufuguke macho. Kuna wakati nilikuwa nasikiza a story about a lady na diposa nikasema wanawake will be very wise. This young lady was married by a young wife, a Christian man. And then akapelekwa in an estate. In this estate this woman didn't have kazi ya kufanya na marafiki walikuwa wanafanya nini kazi. So akaambiwa baada ya kukaga hapa ugoje mwanaume akulete chakula, pia wewe unaweza tufuata tukajitafutia. Siku hizi wanawake tumejua kufanya nini kujitafutia. So wakitafuta wanapitia kwa chang'aa. So slowly by slowly huyu mama akawa induced into drinking chang'aa na ikawa part of her life. So mwanamume akitoka nyumbani kazini anakuja bibi yake amelewa, hata haangali watoto. She does not know herself, she cannot cook for the wife. Kwa hivyo alikuwa anataadikwa kila siku. Kila jioni alikuwa anajua nataadikwa watoto wako. Pastor akajaribu, she cannot stop drinking. So one day the in-laws got fed up with the family of this of their man and their young daughter-in-law, always fighting. She's always drinking. The man didn't give up on the wife. So kesi kapelekwa kwa in-laws. Na watu wote wakaitwa. Na sasa akabia, in fact wadu walitana alafu wakaita kijana na mke. Na akabia kijana, I want you to disown your wife. Sisi hatumtaki kwa sababu she has not become too much. You know what the son said? Huyu ni wangu, ni mimi nilimuoa. Kwa hivyo jinsi alivyo nitaishi na yeye. Imagine akamchukua wakarudi mtaani kwenye wanaishi. And so it reached to a point whereby this lady came back to her senses. Akaacha kunywa pombe hiyo chang'aa, akachana na hao marafiki, and she got saved, and now they are living happily
ever after.
So what am I trying to say to you viewers? Again, friends, can help us lose direction of our marriage. So let us not allow influences from our friends. Let us stick together so that we don't cheat on a husband with pombe. You know, when you go to Changa, now it becomes your husband because now it becomes a husband again. Huna time, you huna time
the spouse.
You have time for Changa, but you don't have time for. So that is also infidelity in its own level. So couples, let us learn to ziba mashimo enye na tunajua inaweza leta ndoa zetu shida. Na ukipatikana umeenda nje, tusifanye kama huyu bwana wa mother. Unless ulikuwa umechokeshwa na yeye na ulikuwa unatafuta kawido ya kufanya nini? Ya kumuacha. You can forgive. And life continues, but the consequences are there. Sindio? But let us learn to forgive, let us learn to communicate. And if you cannot even now live together, there are ways of living each other amicably. Because the Bible says adultery is what can make a couple divorce or separate. So follow the way. Do not put it on the wall to push someone else to commit suicide, or do not beat somebody, or do not kill somebody kwa sababu umemshika na mwanaume mwingine. Use the right process.
Yes. Well, thank you. Irene, on the same.
Yes. Maybe just shortly, I think infidelity is unfaithfulness. So this unfaithfulness comes when one is not ready to suffer for the other, that is love the other. And this comes in when we've decided not to accept our mate as they are, or live with their weaknesses, because now living with their weaknesses is that love now. So you find that there is an area where maybe there's something that is not happening well, the way you expected it to be, and especially in terms of romance in this case, so, or intimacy as we're saying. So I think this is where what you need to do is to go back again to the author of marriage, you know, and he says something about this. I think he's always too harsh on this. He says it's because of this that somebody can leave the other. That is if somebody is not faithful to the other. But in case of that, he's also not just saying that we can divorce, but he's saying we can separate so that we look into this. And the reason he was saying this is because he knows sometimes it's just a matter of some weaknesses that if addressed, then we will go back to who we are supposed to be. And I know when people talk about things that are affecting them, you find that that weakness is not getting a lot of root. It subsides in a way because ina realize kwamba mshanitambua, na vile tulisema kwamba many people are perishing because of lack of that information or knowledge that they need to have. So once people are not having the knowledge about their weaknesses, things that they are doing wrong to their spouses, then you'll find that we end to this. Kwa sababu ule mwingine anaanza kutembea direction yake, na huyu pia kishaona mwenzake anatembea that direction, they are not ready to sacrifice for this one, then they go their next direction. And that is why we are saying that even when it comes to infidelity, sometimes when we get that room ya separation, we can always talk about this thing, and then one of us or even the both of us wanaweza sameana. Na wakisha sameana wafanye sasa vitu differently. Wakishafanya vitu differently, utapata they'll get to where they were supposed to be. So it's something that is just an eye opener for us, that if you find that there is already an open door for infidelity, there are things that really needs to be addressed, and addressed like yesterday. So don't sit there and say, after all, amesha defile our marriage bed, so what else? Yes, we can think of that. But if we talk about it, utapata hata pengine you are the cause of that, as we've looked into it. Kwa hivyo, you need to get an insight of this in terms of kwa nini mtu amefika hapo, there is something that this person is lacking. And mostly, I know that because of that communication we are talking about, so many people have ended into, divorcing or something like that because of lack of that communication, addressing issues that really needed to be addressed. Kwa hivyo, kuna vitu unapata mtu anafanya ni kwa sababu ameshindwa vile anaambia mwenzake, na vile ameshindwa the ill is now continuing between the two of them, and the gap is becoming too wide, and then hakuna mtu wa close in. Wote wanajiona, kila mtu anakuwa na kiburi yake kwamba shauri yako si wewe unaenda hivyo, mimi niende hivi. So mostly I talk to women and tell women, you know what, we are the people who are supposed to bring the balance. Kwa hivyo wakati wote umeona mambo kama haya yanakuja, think of yourself first. Ni nini nimefanya ambayo si sawa? Na kama yeye ndiye alitangulia pengine kunikosesha, is there something that I can do to let him just come to the ground? Yujue, kama vile siku hiyo unasema the doctor hugged the woman. I think the man sat down and said, okay, it's just a hug away. This is something I can do 10 times, 20, 40 in a minute. So look at me. So aka realize kama alikuwa mtu wise, ali realize there's something I just needed to do, and I've been told to do it. Unajua, rather than anza kupiga huyu daktari, kumbe wewe ndio unaharibu mke wangu. You know, sometimes it's something that you can do, but because you didn't know how to do it, somebody has done it for you. Usiende huko kupigana tafadhali. Unaweza unajua, if you just forgive somebody for doing something of that magnitude, hata huyu mtu atashtuka. So sometimes even women, I tell them that, you know what, ukianza tu kwa kusamea mume wako kwa kufanyia kitu ambayo kila mtu akisikia anasema hai, kwa nini, utapata that guy akijirejelea kama vile mama Sarah alikuwa anasema, somebody when they come back to their senses, they can go down to somebody you never expected. Watakuwa the best of your spouse. So I think those are some of the things that we lack, so that we end up into infidelity. But I know infidelity can be done away with kama tutakuwa watu wa kuongea na mwingine, addressing our weaknesses.
Yeah, so the basic thing here is communication. Couple should ensure that you have proper communication. Also is not just communicating, because at the end of it unaweza pata unaharibu kila kitu sasa because you try to communicate but not in the right way. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Sarah and Irene, and much appreciation to our viewers for being with us. Thank you for the feedback. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rida Karim Chebet, and this is Maisha Television. Keep the conversation going. Facebook, YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram, Twitter at Maisha TV KE. You can also text, call, or WhatsApp our phone number, which is 0746 999 841. Till next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing.